Listen carefully, Archangel Michael is trying to speak to you right now. It's an emergency, you have only 2 minutes to respond. This could change your life forever, open this immediately. My precious one, I've been watching the time closely. Every second is critical right now, because something significant is unfolding in the unseen realm, and it's tied directly to your life. Archangel Michael is standing near, urgently trying to make contact, to reach deep into your heart, because he has seen what's on its way. And child, this isn't a moment to dismiss, this isn't just another message, it's divine disruption. Heaven has been trying to break through the static around you, whispering with increasing urgency. And now this moment has arrived, an alert from above. 2 minutes, that's all you need to shift everything. Michael isn't here to frighten, but to free, to cut away everything that's been weighing down your spirit. Every confusion, every delay, every tangled thread of doubt is being severed. Right now you are standing at a spiritual fork in the road, and there's one decision that will unlock the gates holding your miracle. If you brush past this, the moment may slip away. But if you lean in, keep your heart wide open for just a little longer, a mighty wave of divine movement will begin flowing straight to you. You've sensed it, haven't you, that strange undercurrent in the air, that tug at your spirit, like something or someone has been reaching out to you in the quiet. You couldn't quite name it, but you could feel it, that pull. It's real, it's Archangel Michael calling, not with thunder, but with energy, with light, with deep spirit. The stirring inside your chest, that's not just nerves, that's his voice in spiritual form. And child, if you turn away from this now, you might walk past something, heaven handcrafted for your healing. Listen carefully, there is someone in your life, who was divinely assigned. They haven't opened up entirely yet, they've kept a sacred truth hidden inside, waiting for what they believed was the right moment. But that moment just arrived, earlier than expected. Archangel Michael says, if you don't open your inner eyes now, this person may quietly walk away, with a message meant to free you both. They're feeling everything intensely, they're uncertain, they've watched you from afar, believing you didn't share the same emotions. But you do, heaven knows you do. Warning, before you go any further, this message wasn't sent to you by accident. If your heart is resonating with it, and you're ready to unlock the next phase of your spiritual journey, subscribe now. Heaven rarely speaks this clearly twice. Yes, your name is being whispered in the realm beyond. Don't miss what comes next, Dove Love Letter, stay connected, subscribe. Let's come back, child, now hear me. Your silence holds deep power, your presence echoes louder than any words. And there's someone who's felt that power, in ways they don't fully understand. That's why they think of you late into the night, that's why they tried to distance themselves, but couldn't. Because God has linked your soul to theirs, with an invisible golden thread. And Michael says that thread is glowing now. But be warned, someone nearby is attempting to cut it. There's an individual around them, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, who holds influence, and is steering them away from what their heart knows to be true. They're urging them to remain silent. This is the moment for your spiritual response. That doesn't mean chasing after them in the physical world, it means aligning your spirit with honesty, speaking it aloud or in prayer, whispering to heaven, I am ready. Because when truth is spoken in faith, it moves. It finds its way to you, through barriers, through pain, even through silence. Michael says your breakthrough has been sitting just behind a conversation that should have taken place last week. Fear stopped it, they assumed you wouldn't believe them, they convinced themselves you were already gone. But what they don't know is what heaven already confirmed: you're still here, you're waiting, you're holding on. Now the divine is intervening. You need to stay emotionally receptive, spiritually awake, say yes. Because if you don't, Michael warns, the moment will pass, like wind through open windows, felt but never held. And you, child, haven't you already let enough moments slip through your fingers? Haven't you spent enough nights wondering what might have happened if you just answered one more nudge, followed one more instinct, opened one more door? Don't allow this to become another what if. This isn't an ordinary message, it's a sacred countdown. Heaven mentioned your name, Michael saw it, your soul's light caught attention in the throne room, and that light wasn't fading, it was shining bright. But someone here on earth has tried to dim that light. A person envious of your peace, who pretends kindness, but speaks in shadows behind you. They may not realize the impact of their words, but their energy is pushing against your purpose. Michael says he's ready to remove their influence. But he needs your permission. Let him in, create space in your heart for divine removal, say yes to this cleansing. Because when you do, doors that once remained closed will begin to open. A message will arrive, a truth will surface, and what your spirit has been seeking, even unknowingly, will be placed into your hands. Not as a prize, but as a divine alignment. You see, what's meant for you by heaven's hand, is hovering around your life, just waiting for you to respond. You still have time, 2 minutes, not out of fear, but out of spiritual urgency. This isn't about a ticking clock, it's about a sacred opening, a holy moment, where heaven bends close, and whispers now, this is your time. The answer to your prayers is within reach, but you must say yes with your soul, not your stress. With openness, not clenched fists. Take a breath, deep, say quietly or aloud, Archangel Michael, I receive this, I believe in what's forming beyond sight, I am open to heaven's preparation, I respond fully right now. When you do, your spiritual vibration changes. The energy around your name lifts. People who've hesitated to acknowledge your worth will feel a sudden spiritual urgency. Someone who's been emotionally unsure will suddenly gain clarity. And a person who planned to reach out weeks from now will feel drawn to contact you tonight. Yes, tonight, that's how close this moment is, that's how sacred the timing is. So keep your spirit tender, stay open. Because this message isn't ending, it's just beginning. And Archangel Michael, he's still standing guard, watching, waiting to see your response. Will you follow the nudge, will you open your heart wide, or will you scroll past, pretending you didn't feel this in your bones? The decision is yours, the window is now, and I promise, no matter what happens next, you're not doing this alone. I'm with you, every step of the way, and heaven has already moved closer. They are on the verge of revealing the truth, not because they want to disrupt your peace, but because their silence has become too heavy to carry. They're afraid you'll walk away once you know, but what they don't realize is that heaven already prepared your heart to handle this moment with grace. Archangel Michael says that your response will not only free them, it will free you too. Because forgiveness isn't about weakness, it's about spiritual authority, and child, you've been walking in that authority, even when you didn't know it. Now listen, because the next few days will be sensitive. Emotions may rise unexpectedly, memories you thought you had healed from might resurface. Don't be afraid, that's heaven stirring the atmosphere around you, making room for what's coming. You might feel waves of emotion that you can't explain, or sudden moments of clarity that feel like they come from nowhere. That's not random, that's divine alignment. You are not relapsing, you're rising, you are not being tested, you're being transformed. Michael is here, clearing space, pushing out old energy, to welcome in the new. You may notice someone reaching out, who once vanished. You may hear a message that brings closure. But don't rush the process, let it unfold. Because the person who once broke your heart is realizing they were holding a piece of themselves back, and now they're ready to give what they once withheld. But this isn't just about love, this is about truth, and truth has a strange way of surfacing at the exact moment it's needed. There is also a decision you need to make. You've been putting it off, waiting for a perfect sign. But Michael says the sign is already here. It's in your restlessness, it's in the way your soul no longer feels comfortable, in places you once tolerated. That's not anxiety, that's intuition, that's your spirit telling you that the next chapter requires a bolder version of you. The kind of version that doesn't beg to be chosen, but stands rooted in being worthy. Let me be clear, your destiny is not dependent on someone else's ability to see your value. What God has ordained for you will not be stolen, delayed, or denied. The doors are opening now, not just because you waited, but because you've grown, and growth is what qualifies you for what's next. Archangel Michael says your readiness is your passport. You don't need to beg for confirmation anymore. The shift has already begun. Someone from your past has been thinking about you, more than you know. Not because they miss who you were, but because they sense who you're becoming. They feel the distance, not just physically, but spiritually. They remember how your presence calmed them, challenged them, and called them to be better. And now they're beginning to realize, what they lost was more than comfort, it was divine connection. But child, don't lower yourself, to make room for someone, who still hasn't learned how to rise. They must come correct, they must meet you where you are now, not where you used to be. You've already done the work, the healing, the crying, the questioning. And now you're stepping into reward, into revelation, into resolve. Archangel Michael is guiding your steps, shielding your back, and clearing your path. And you'll begin to see little signs, feathers, lights flickering, clocks stopping at certain numbers. Don't dismiss them. These are confirmations that the message you're reading is tailored for you. And child, there's more. Someone has been carrying shame in their heart, a shame they thought they buried, but it keeps rising, every time your name is mentioned. They want to reach out, they want to say something. But they're battling with pride and fear. Michael says they are about to reach their breaking point. And when they do, be ready, not to attack, but to receive. Because sometimes what looks like weakness, is really the start of redemption. But listen carefully, this isn't about going backward, it's about stepping into wholeness, into a new alignment. There is a relationship, a partnership, a divine connection, that's being recalibrated in the background. You may not see the details now, but your obedience to keep your heart open is creating momentum in the spiritual realm. You're not being ignored, you're being prepared. You might have noticed people falling away recently, connections fading, conversations ending. That's not rejection, that's redirection. Heaven has been clearing distractions from your life, people whose energy no longer aligns with your growth. And although it may sting in the moment, it's a necessary pruning. Because the next level requires less noise, and more discernment. Michael says, let go peacefully, and you will rise powerfully. Also there is something hidden in plain sight. A door you've walked past many times, thinking it wasn't for you. But it is, and soon it will swing wide open. The opportunity may not look how you expected, it might come through an unusual source, or an unplanned meeting. But it's divine, you'll know it by the way your spirit leaps. Don't hesitate when it shows up, say yes. Because this is your answered prayer, wrapped in unfamiliar packaging. Michael is standing beside you now, with a scroll in his hand. On that scroll is your name, your calling, your purpose. And heaven has stamped it with approval. But you must say yes fully, no more halfway faith, no more lukewarm belief, no more pretending you're fine, when you know you're being pulled into something bigger. You are not being asked to have all the answers, just to trust the one who does. So take this moment seriously. This is not just another message, this is a spiritual assignment, a divine transaction, between heaven and your soul. What happens next will be determined by your willingness to believe, even when the evidence hasn't appeared yet. This is your miracle moment, and it won't feel like lightning, it'll feel like peace, like alignment, like a sudden breath, after holding it for too long. Archangel Michael is not moving away, he's drawing closer. He's surrounding your mind with clarity, your emotions with balance, your body with strength. There's a glow returning to you, that others will notice, before you do. A light that no darkness can snuff out, a radiance that comes from spiritual breakthrough, not external validation. Prepare yourself, within the next few days, an invitation is coming. It could be subtle, a question, a gesture, a door slightly cracked open. But say yes, trust what you feel, more than what you see. Because heaven moves differently, it doesn't shout, it whispers, and if you've read this far, your spirit is attuned to hear the whisper. Now inhale deeply, exhale slowly. You are safe, you are seen, you are chosen. Everything you thought you lost, is being restored in higher form. This is your confirmation, your name is being spoken, in places of divine authority, and nothing, not delay, not fear, not opposition, can stop what heaven has initiated. Your breakthrough is not on the way. It's already here, just open your spirit, and let it in. That light, it's flickering stronger now, not because everything got easier, but because you kept going, even when you didn't feel seen. You didn't stop shining, even when you were surrounded by darkness. And heaven noticed, that's why things are shifting so quickly now, that's why the pressure has been building. Because the oil inside you, the anointing, the calling, it's about to flow in a way it never has before. You're stepping into territory that was once blocked, you're entering rooms, your name was already whispered in, long before your feet arrived. Michael is standing at your side now, not to remove the weight entirely, but to remind you that you were built to carry it, with divine strength. He says this moment is not random, the timing is not a coincidence. You are reading this at the very moment, when something in the spirit realm is aligning for you. And if you stay in faith, if you hold your posture of belief, just a little longer, the very thing that once broke you, will become the reason someone else believes they can heal too. Heaven is turning your story into someone else's survival manual. The same tears you cried last season are watering seeds in someone else's soul now. And that is why you couldn't give up, even when everything in you wanted to. That's why your prayers were delayed, not denied, because the delay strengthened what needed to grow deeper. Roots of endurance, branches of wisdom, leaves of discernment. You needed more than just a miracle, you needed longevity in your blessing. Now hear this, someone you once helped quietly, someone you gave to, without asking for anything back, they are about to return, not just with thanks, but with favor. They carry an opportunity in their hands, that you don't even know is connected to you yet. A door is about to swing open, not because you forced it, but because your integrity unlocked it. You've been asking when it will be your turn. You've been wondering if heaven forgot the seeds you planted in secret. But child, nothing planted in love ever goes unnoticed. Every act of kindness, every moment you chose peace over pride, every time you stayed quiet, instead of clapping back, those became altars of light, in the spiritual realm. And now they are glowing so brightly, that blessings are being drawn to you, without you having to chase them. There's a conversation happening about you right now. Someone is speaking your name, in a space of influence. Someone is being led to bring you into a room, where decisions are made. And when you arrive, you won't need to explain why you belong, your energy will speak for you. Your presence will carry the authority, of everything you endured, everything you survived, everything you overcame, when no one saw the struggle. And hear this clearly, you are not returning to the old version of you. That version was necessary, but it's complete now. That season is over. You're not healing just to go back to who you were, you're healing to become someone brand new. Elevated, refined, realigned. You are being made over from the inside out, and the fruit of that transformation will speak louder than any apology, any validation, any explanation you once craved. So don't be surprised if people who once misunderstood you try to re-enter. Don't be shocked if those who rejected your light try to borrow its glow now. But Michael says, protect your peace. You can be kind, without giving access. You can forgive, without reopening the door. You are no longer available for what drains you. You are no longer on sale, for those who didn't see your worth at full price. Let your yes be intentional, let your no be sacred. This next season of your life requires clarity, not chaos, peace, not pressure. And if something disrupts your peace consistently, it is no longer aligned with your purpose. Listen closely, alignment always costs something. Sometimes it costs comfort, sometimes it costs connection, but it never costs your calling remains, even when people walk away. And here is what Michael wants you to know deep in your bones, the battle wasn't proof you were weak, it was confirmation you were worthy. You were chosen to carry something divine, you were entrusted with light in dark places. And you made it out, not because you had all the answers, but because you had just enough faith to keep moving forward. That's why heaven is responding now, that's why the wind is changing direction, That's why doors are about to open so suddenly, you won't even have time to knock. It's your appointed time. And nothing can delay what's already been released for you. There will be signs, repeating numbers, songs that speak to your spirit, dreams that feel too vivid to ignore. Pay attention, stay open, respond with gratitude. Because these aren't coincidences, they're confirmations, markers on the path of your destiny, evidence that heaven is near, that angels are active, that the shift is not just coming, it's already begun. You might feel tired, you might feel like you have nothing left to give. But that's when heaven does its best work, in your surrender, not your striving, in your stillness, not your struggle. Michael says, lay it down. Lay down the pressure to figure it all out, lay down the fear of missing your moment. You cannot miss what's divinely yours. And child, let me say this with love and truth, stop revisiting what I've already removed. Stop romanticizing what broke you. Stop texting what I've already silenced. That cycle closed for a reason. And if it's meant to return, it will come back new, not as a recycled version of pain. Let it transform, or let it go. Because here's the truth, you don't need closure, when God is your compass. You don't need validation, when peace is your confirmation. You don't need the whole picture, when faith is your foundation. Just keep walking, keep trusting, keep declaring, even when you don't see the evidence yet. You are on sacred ground now. Everything you lost is being returned, in divine form. Everything that broke you, is becoming a doorway to deeper joy. Everything you thought disqualified you, is now being rewritten, as proof that grace always wins. The promise still stands, the oil is still flowing, the blessing is still moving. So breathe, lift your head, square your shoulders. You are not at the end, you are at the turning point. And what's ahead of you, is so much greater than what's behind you. The light is calling you forward, the angels are going before you, and I, your God, have never stopped writing your story. You are chosen, you are covered, and you are just getting started. Because you're coming into remembrance. You're beginning to reconnect with the version of yourself that existed before the heartbreak, before the trust was broken, before the fatigue made you wonder if the blessing was still even worth it. And I want you to hear this clearly, feeling tired doesn't mean you're failing, it means your spirit is making room. Because what's coming next, cannot be squeezed, into the same old places, you've outgrown. Yes, things feel uncomfortable, yes, the silence has been louder lately, yes, you've noticed certain people stepping back. But this isn't about rejection, it's redirection. It's the sacred clearing of what's no longer aligned, so that the sound of divine timing doesn't get lost in the noise. Archangel Michael is urging you to take this seriously, there's a moment approaching, a choice, a word, an invitation. It might appear small, almost easy to overlook, but it holds great weight. How you respond to this moment will determine the direction your life flows. So breathe, don't choose out of fear, choose from alignment. Let peace not panic, guide your decision, because Michael has already gone ahead, and paved the way. All that's left is for you to walk it out in trust. Now receive this sacred truth, so tender you may need to read it again. Your tears were never wasted. Not one, each one was seen, counted, and collected. And now heaven is answering those tears, with joy, in the very places where sorrow once lingered. You'll laugh again, in the same space where you once broke down. You'll be held, where you once felt abandoned. This is more than healing, this is restoration, and restoration carries justice. And justice is coming. The one who betrayed you feels it now. Not punishment, but pressure, the heavy realization of what they let slip away. They may never admit it, they might never say the words. But their soul is fully aware. And Michael says, don't return, not because you're bitter, but because you've evolved. You've outgrown their silence, you've loved deeper than their pride could ever reach. The former you is gone, the healed you cannot shrink, to fit where you've already risen from. What's ahead will feel unfamiliar at first. That's normal. You've been conditioned to expect disappointment. But not this time. This time surprise will replace sorrow. You'll wake up one day and recognize, this is what I've waited for. And it won't be loud, it won't be chaotic, it will be peaceful, gentle, and sacred. When it comes, don't retreat, don't question if you deserve it, don't measure it against past pain. Simply receive it. This moment was prepared, during every breakdown you survived, every betrayal you endured, every silent cry you whispered, when no one else knew. This is your harvest. And harvests take time, because they're rooted deeply. You are ready now. The old you wouldn't have made it to this point. But this version of you, the one still standing, wiser, more open, this version is not just prepared, you are glowing. So step with purpose, speak with kindness, love without caution, pray with boldness. Because the thing you've been waiting for, is already making its way toward you. And Michael is still guarding the path, still surrounding your promise, still speaking your name, in the courts of heaven. Now lean into this final truth, you're not waiting anymore. The lock has been removed, the way has been cleared. The love hasn't disappeared, the time isn't late. This is not the conclusion, it's the awakening. So stand up with renewed faith, with vision, with deep-rooted knowing. Because what you carry is rare, and what's on its way is unstoppable. Heaven isn't trying to scare you into obedience, it's aligning you with divine order. Something far beyond your understanding, is moving behind the scenes. And I your God am with you in every breath. I am in the timing, I am in the quiet, I am in the shift. And I will not release what is meant for you, into the wrong moment. That's why the delay, that's why the preparation, that's why I slowed you down, not to punish, but to position. You asked for renewal, I'm bringing rebirth. You asked for survival, I'm giving abundance. You asked for one sign, I'm giving divine instruction. You asked for a door, I'm sending a whole new blueprint. But with this release comes responsibility. Handle what arrives with reverence, not fear. What you do with this, will shape your next chapter. And understand this with clarity, not everyone can walk into this new season beside you. Some were only meant to accompany your process, not your promise. That's why people are fading, don't run after what I've removed, let the doors close gently. I'm bringing others, souls who recognize your depth, people who see your light, and aren't threatened by it. These are your future connections. You'll know them by the ease you feel, the peace in your belly, the way your heart finally exhales. That is how you'll know. When the courier brings the message, and they will, do not shrink, do not speak against it with doubt. Hold it with sacred confidence. What you're receiving is not fragile, it's holy. What you do next will send ripples into your future. It will set the pace for what follows, it will determine whether this becomes a mere moment, or a divine shift. You are being invited into more than belief, you're being called into embodiment. Lay down the guilt, the what-ifs, the disappointments. That season has served its purpose, let it go now. It built you, but it's not your baggage anymore. You are walking forward, with healed wings. And yes, child, you will soar. Not just survive, not just cope, you will soar, in such a way, that others are awakened by your flight. Your pace will confuse those who expected you to stay small. Your strength will silence every doubt. And your joy, your real unshakable joy, will rise again, stronger than ever. What I nurture cannot be destroyed. And I'm nurturing you now, I'm expanding your reach, I'm exchanging ashes for beauty, sorrow for gladness, weariness for purpose. And it's all beginning with what this divine courier carries. This moment isn't small, it's sacred, it's the split in time, where everything begins again. You will remember this date. You'll look back and say, that was the day everything shifted. And when you do, you'll see it clearly, how close you came to giving up, but something whispered, stay open. And when you listened, heaven responded. And now let me speak one final truth into your soul. You have not been overlooked, not once, not ever. Your timeline hasn't been broken, your story hasn't been lost. Every pause was part of my strategy, every unanswered prayer was a divine redirection. And every tear-filled prayer, whispered in the quiet of your room, it reached me. And I responded, not with delay, but with precision. The delivery is now, the arrival is here, and what's entering your life next, will not be stopped. Get ready to receive what has always had your name on it. Open the door, and don't look back.